Today we're still covering linear equations. So far we have learned point-slope form. Who can tell me point-slope form? Good. Y minus y1 equals the slope, open parentheses, x minus x1. We've also covered slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. Today we're moving on to standard form. Have we already kind of learned this? Yes, we have. Okay, we've just rearranged stuff to be in standard or to be back to y equals mx plus b. So on your star chart, if you don't have it out, that's okay. Under linear equations, all of these formulas are here. So here's standard. That's what we're going to go over today. Here's slope-intercept. Here's point-slope. So this is what we learned last week. And you all know the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is all found on your star chart, so you don't have to memorize any of it. Today we're doing standard form, so we're going to go write this down right here. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. Now, truly, standard form is used for word problems mostly. For example, if I'm talking about how much orange juice I have and how much apple juice I have, like the x would be the orange juice, the y would be the apple juice, and c might be like the total cost of both. And so you're putting them together on one side with the total on the other. Does that make sense? When you're using y equals mx plus b, you're usually talking about total cost for just one of those, like apple juice. But it's when you're like, you have two quantities together that you're adding up to give you the total. In standard form, your job is to fill in these three numbers. X and y always just stay what? X and y. So your job is to fill in the A, the B, and the C. Now, it is super, super important that in standard form, this number can't be negative. Y'all remember? What else can it not be? It can't be a fraction or a decimal. So it needs to be a whole number. We should all be writing. This number, so if you get a negative, you got to multiply the whole equation by negative to make that first number a positive. If you get a fraction, you got to multiply the whole equation by the denominator to get rid of that denominator. Okay, so it's called an equivalent equation, and we're going to talk about that right now. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is learn how to write an equivalent equation. So here it says write two equations in standard form that are equivalent to this equation. What does it mean to be equivalent? Y'all learned about equivalent ratios back in 5th, 6th grade? Yes? So for example, y'all don't need to write this down. For example, back in the day, y'all learned that 1/3 is the same thing as? No, I want an equivalent ratio. 2/6. What did he do to get that? He multiplied the numerator and the denominator by, is that the same number? Yes, one is just expanded and one is simplified. Yes? Could I expand it even more and to have another equivalent one? 4/12. Or? Yeah, could I keep going? Could I keep multiplying by different stuff and they're all the same ratio? Yes or no? For example, 4/8 in a slice of pizza and a pizza, isn't that the same thing? I'm not really good at pictures. 4/8 is the same thing as what? 1/2. They're the exact same thing. Yes? Okay. So when we're doing equivalent equations, you can do the same thing. You can multiply the whole equation by 2, and it will be equivalent. You can multiply the whole equation by 3. You can divide the whole equation by 2. And you will have an equivalent equation. All right, so the first one, let's multiply by 2. All right, so we're going to multiply this entire equation by 2. So what's 2 times 2? So I'm going to write 4x minus, what's 6 times 2? 12y equals, and what's 4 times 2? 8. That is an equivalent equation. Yes? All right, let's do another one. It wants, what else could we do? We could do that. Could we divide and make it smaller? Why do we know we can divide? Because they all have something in common. They're all even, so I can divide everything by, so let's go divide by 2. What's 2 divided by 2? So I have x, or 1x, does it matter? Nope, minus, what's 6 divided by 2? 3y equals, and what's 4 divided by 2? Do you have any questions on what an equivalent equation is? All right, let's try this one. Write 2 equations in standard form that are equivalent to this equation. So let's multiply by 2. So what would it be? 2x plus 8y equals 6. Good. Can I simplify this equation and make it smaller? No, because the first term is a 1, and remember that to be a correct standard, it cannot be a negative, a fraction, or a decimal. So I cannot divide because I just can't. It would make it a fraction. Yes? What else could I multiply by? 4, 5, 3. Yes? Any of those things. I'm going to do 3. So 3 times x is 3x. Plus, what's 3 times 4? 12y equals, and what's 3 times 3? 9. Easy? Yes? Okay. The next part wants us to write an equation in standard form of this line. Now, there is no secret trick to do this. You're going to, and I need y'all to write this down, write in y equals mx plus b form, and then rearrange. That's how you're going to do it if you want it in standard form. Y'all know in point slope form, we didn't have to use mx plus b, did we? We just needed a point and a slope, and we were able to use that equation. In standard form, you're going to have to go from slope-intercept to standard. Now, what's the coolest thing about slope-intercept? What's the coolest thing about slope-intercept form? You can use your, and what will do it for us? Photomath will not do this. Nope. Stat. Why will stat give me an equation in slope-intercept form? Because there's 2 points. So we're going to go to stat, and we're going to go get our equation. So stat, edit, delete what's there. Quick, quick, quick. All right, remember you're going to put the x's in, so it goes 1, that's the x, and then the next x is 2, and then the first y is 1, and the second y is -2. And then go to stat calc, option 4, and there's your equation in slope-intercept form, yes? So I have y equals -3x plus 4. Write that down. Now, what are we going to do to get it into standard form? Rearrange it. So I'm going to come over here, y equals -3x plus 4, and I'm going to rearrange it to look like this. So the number with the x, I want on the left side, yes? So how would I move a negative 3x to this side? Okay, I'm going to address this real quick because a lot of people think that you would divide. If I would divide, am I moving the whole thing or just the negative 3? So I want to move the whole thing with the x, yes? So how am I going to do that? Plus 3x. Whatever I do to the right, I got to do to the left. All right, I now have 3x. Since that's a positive y, what would I write? Plus y equals 4. Is that standard form, or do I need to do anything else? I have the coefficient with x. I have a coefficient with y. What's the coefficient of y? 1. And I have my constant over here, yes? That's my answer. Is my coefficient of x a negative? Is it a fraction? Is it a decimal? So I'm done. 3x plus y equals 4. All right, go do the next one on your own. What's the first thing you're going to do? Stat. Put it in mx plus b form by using stat. Go. Remember how to do stat? Stat? That's a 2, 2, and a 4, negative 2. What'd y'all get for your mx plus b?
Y equals to negative 2x plus 6.
Good. All right, now go rearrange it. All right, how did you get rid of the negative 2x and bring it over here? Plus 2x. So I have 2x plus y equals 6. Is the coefficient of x a negative, a decimal, or fraction? Nope. So am I good? All right, 2x plus y equals 6. Done. All right, y'all have done this already. It says write an equation of the specified line. So this one once.
Line A.
So everybody find line A. Oh, it's this one. Line A. What did I tell you guys about straight up and down or straight side to side lines? It's going to be?
X is 0.
It's either going to be x equals something or y equals something. Okay, your equation will be whatever the axis it's crossing through. So everybody look at this line. What axis is it crossing through? Then it's going to be x equals. Where is it crossing through? Here's 0. It's crossing through at 4. There's your equation. Y'all remember how easy this is? All right, now let's do line B. See if you can figure it out real quick. Remember, it's whatever axis it's crossing through, that's what you're going to use. Is it crossing through the x-axis or the y-axis? Okay, so it's going to be y equals. Where is it crossing through? Here's 0. Thank you. Here's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Okay, y'all remember how to do that? All right, moving on. This part gives you a line graph with 1 point, and it says find the missing coefficient in the equation of the line. Write the completed equation in standard form. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to plug in x and y for the coordinate shown. Then solve the equation. You're going to plug in x and y of the coordinate shown. So here's the coordinate they showed. So what are you going to plug in for x? -1. What are you going to plug in for y? 0. And then you're just going to solve for that missing coefficient. Then you go write it in standard form. All right, y'all ready? All right, so for A, we're solving for A, yes, because there's supposed to be a number right there. Are y'all with me? So I'm going to do A times x. Well, what is x?
-1.
So I'm going to put -1A, because that's how we write an equation. I wouldn't put A -1, right? Plus 3 times y. Well, what is y? 0 equals 2. Can I solve this equation now? Is there only one missing piece? All right, so here we go. -1A plus 0, so do I have to write that? Okay, equals 2. How am I going to get rid of the -1?
Division.
Divide. And I get A equals -2. Now that I have my missing piece, can I go write an equation in standard form? Where am I going to put this -2 for? So I have -2x plus 3y equals 2. Are we done?
No, it's negative.
No, we're not. Who can tell me why we're not done? You cannot have a negative in front of the coefficient for 2. So to get rid of it, just go multiply the whole equation by -1. Turn around. Pay attention. What's -1 times -2?
2.
Positive 2x. All right. What's -1 times positive 3? -3y equals, what's -1 times 2? All right, now is it in correct standard form? Because this number cannot be a negative.
But the y can.
Yeah, the y can. Because it's the correct form of standard notation. Whoever came up with this form made that rule. That's why. All right, no. Do the next one on your own. Here's your point. That's your x, that's your y. Oops. All right, check to make sure you set it up correctly. Now that I know A, can I write it in standard form? So 3x plus 3y equals 6. Do I need to change this equation to an equivalent equation, or is it in correct form? All right. The next one says, find the missing coefficient in the equation of the line that passes through the given point. So is this the same exact type of question, except this time they didn't give you a graph, which does not matter. All right, so here we go. What am I plugging 2 in for?
X.
So I have A times 2 plus 3 times, what am I plugging in for y? -1 equals 5. All right, so I have 2a plus -3 equals 5. I'm solving for a, so how do I get rid of the negative 3? How do I get rid of a negative 3? Plus 3. So 2a equals 8. How do I solve for a?
Division.
Divide by 2. And I get a is? All right, now can I write my equation? I'm just going to put in the 4 for the a. 4x plus 3y equals 5. Is it in correct form? Yes, I'm done. Try the next one on your own. Remember, you're plugging in the negative 5 for x, the 4 for y. So this time, are you solving for a or are you solving for b? You're solving for b. Everybody set it up correctly. Okay, how am I going to get rid of? Always ask yourself, what am I solving for? I'm solving for b. So how do I get rid of negative 40 plus 40? So I have 4b equals 44. How do I get rid of the 4 so I can get b by itself? And so what is b? All right, now I write my equation with this plugged in for b. So I have 8x plus 11y equals 4. Last one, do it on your own. What is the coefficient in front of the x? Negative 1. Okay, look, this is a negative 1 right here, right? So I'm going to write negative 1 times the value of x. And x was what?
Negative.
Negative 2, see? Plus b times the value of y. Equals 10, yes? Are we good now? Okay, now go solve. I'm not done, so I'm not boxing in my answer. I'm letting everybody have some time. If you get confused, look at the board and you can see what I did. Okay, again, I did negative 1 because negative 1 is the coefficient of x times negative 2 plus b times y, which was negative 2, equals 10. Right here, that makes a positive 2 plus negative 2b. And I put the negative 2 in front because that's how you write it correctly. Then I'm solving for b. So I want to get rid of this 2 first, so I subtract. And then I'm going to divide by negative 2 and I get negative 4. Everybody good? Now, is this my answer?
No.
Because I cannot have a negative right here. So I take the entire equation and multiply by what? Negative 1, because I want to get rid of the negative. Guys, all you're basically doing is changing the sign of every single one. So this one, instead of being negative, it's going to be. This one, instead of being negative, it's going to be. And this one, instead of being positive, it's going to be. And that's my answer. All right, I'm going to pass out the. Okay, put your name on it. Let's look at the directions. On 1 through 3, what does it want you to do? Identify the form of the equation. Here's your answer choices on your star chart. Your answer will either be standard, slope-intercept, or point-slope. If you need to write those down real quick, those are your answer choices for 1 through 3. Standard, slope-intercept, or point-slope. I mean, here gives you the answers. It's which one does it look like. Make sense? All right. Number 4 through 6 says write 2 equations in standard form that are equivalent. To keep all of our answers the same, let's multiply by 2. So for one answer, I want you to multiply by 2. On this one, the second answer, multiply by 3. On this one, multiply by 2, multiply by 3. On this one, what do you think the first thing we could do that would be super easy? Divide by 3, yes? So the first one, I want you to divide by 3. Then what could you do?
Plus.
Could you, you can't plus. You have to multiply or divide. Can you multiply by 2? Sure. Multiply the original. Multiply this one, okay? Any questions? I'll get it in a second. All right, at the bottom, it says write an equation in standard form. So you have to write it in. What do you have to do first? You got to write it in y equals mx plus b first. And then rearrange. Can you use your calculator for stats?
Yes.
But you need 2. They only gave you. So could I go write a point from this? Look at what I'm at. I'm at positive 4, negative what? So 4, negative 2. They gave me 1 point right here. Here's another point. What am I at? Positive 3, negative 3. And this one, I'm at 0, 3, yes? So just use your stat button to put it in MX. Isn't that 0, 3? Oh, yes, it's 0, 4. Thank you. There we go. So use your stat button, write it in MX plus B, then rearrange. At the bottom, they already gave you 2 points, so use your stat button, put it in MX plus B, and then rearrange. Okay, on 13 through 15, y'all better pay attention. This is so easy. It says write equations of the horizontal. What is horizontal? And vertical lines that pass through the given point. Now, I'm just going to show y'all, I'm going to sketch this out for you so you see how easy this is. If I have a graph, where's this point at? Where do I go?
2, 1.
So here's 2, here's 1. Does everybody agree? This would be the vertical line passing through that. This would be the horizontal line passing through that. Y'all see how that would work? It's this simple. What's the x value? What's the y value? That's what your equations of a horizontal and vertical would be for every single one. Yeah. So do y'all see how easy that is? All right, let's do number 16 for homework, A, B, and C, and then you can take off 17. We'll just do one more problem. All right, get busy.